Criteria is a platform for designing APIs collaboratively. Let's say we're a banking as a service platform and we want to design a new API for our banking customers. We can create a draft API definition in minutes and we don't even have to be technical. The design process starts by aligning on the main concepts that this API needs to expose. This API will provide a way for bank customers to manage their accounts. So I'll create an accounts resource and leave the default operations for now. Customers will also need a way to see activity in their account, so I'll create another resource and call it transactions. New transactions occur when a customer deposits or spends money. They're not created through the API, so I'll unselect the create, update, and delete operations. Lastly, I'll create a statements resource so customers can access their monthly statements. Now, after talking to some stakeholders, I've learnt that an account can either be a long-term savings account or a cash account for everyday spending. I'll write a note here so that the rest of my team has access to this customer context. Next, I'll go to the Operations tab, which lists all the actions that a developer can perform using this API. As you can see, Criteria has automatically created default actions and even defined the endpoints according to REST conventions, such as using the post method for create. This mostly looks good, though I'll update the terminology to reflect the banking industry. Creating an account is usually called opening an account, and I'll make a similar change for closing an account. Now, I've shared this with my tech lead from engineering, and they've also suggested to split out the retrieve balance user story into a separate endpoint. So let's do that. I'll create a new operation, make it a custom action on the accounts resource, and then fill in the rest of the details. Great. From here, we can jump straight to the documentation. Documentation is the main way developers experience APIs, and it's extremely helpful to put yourselves in their shoes while you're in the design phase. You will notice that for this operation, list all transactions, Criteria knows that it is listing data, so it's automatically added the appropriate query parameters, response status codes, and response body attributes for paginated data. What's more, I can click on anything to edit it. This is great for your documentation writers. Now, if I go to accounts, I'll see my note from before. So let's quickly add a new attribute on the account object to reflect this. I'll create a new attribute and call it type. And it will always exist and be one of two values, which will be either savings or cash. Now, I'm pretty happy with how this API is turning out, but I would like to share it with some potential customers to get their buy-in before proceeding with development. From the share dialog, I can create a unique link, and I can share this with other teams or even people outside of my company. The people that I share this with will be able to leave comments and feedback for me to review. When I'm ready to start development, the engineers on my team can easily access the OpenAPI definition, and even sync it to their Git repository to maintain a single source of truth. This definition so far is a few hundreds of lines long. For complete APIs, this might end up being thousands or even tens of thousands of lines long. You can imagine how difficult it would be to write by hand. Criteria makes designing APIs easy and accessible to everyone, including non-technical people. So as you can see, Criteria brings product managers, customers, stakeholders, and engineers together in a single seamless platform to design APIs that your developers and customers will love. Thanks for watching.